Alright, man, what's up, y'all? We back with another one. Right now, we got the video we about to look at today, man. We got Killer Thinks He Got Away. Doesn't know he was recorded on CCTV. I've been telling y'all, hey, they gonna have them cameras everywhere by the next couple years, man. I'm talking about on trees, houses. Every door gonna have to have a door ring camera on there. It's gonna be the law type shit. What? It's coming.
Denton, Texas. Some 55,000 students had returned to the campuses of the University of North Texas and the Texas Women's University over the last 3 weeks. And those students were doing what students do. They were going out, meeting people, and hooking up. Jackie Vandergriff was one of those young people, a 24-year-old woman who had just begun turning her life around. A woman who had no way of knowing that she had definitely taken a wrong turn that night. Join us as we look into the horrifying case of the murder of Jackie Vandergriff and the investigation that would bring her killer to justice and probably kept another murder from happening.
She's found dead in a pool that came from your backyard. You killed her.
Never wanted to kill anyone. It's me. It's totally me. There's no doubt about it, but I just want to go forward with it.
If you remember this whole thing and you're a psychopath, serial killer, and you dream about this shit and you do it all the time, and then you should just shut up and tell me to leave.
Before we begin, we would like to extend our deepest sympathies to the family and loved ones of Jacqueline Vandergriff, a young woman taken from us just as her life was blossoming. Before we go into the crime, let's take a moment to learn a little about Jackie Vandergriff. Jackie had taken a bit of time to find traction in her life, but had just recently decided to go to college, seeking a degree in nutrition. She had enrolled in Texas Women's University, a school known for its healthcare curriculum, and moved into a housing unit that she was sharing with 3 other students. Let's let her tell us in her words a little bit about herself. This video was one she had created for an assignment in one of her classes, and it tells volumes about the lively, petite, and hopeful young woman.
Hello everyone, my name is Jacqueline Vandergriff, but friends call me Jackie. I am originally from the Colony, Texas, but I moved to Frisco when I was in elementary school, and I graduated from Wakeland High School. I am currently a junior here at Texas Women's University, and my major is nutrition with an emphasis in wellness. I chose this major because I realized while working as an esthetician, which is skincare if you're not familiar, I realized the importance of nutrition and just overall health, and decided that this is what I was going to study. As far as my career aspirations go, right now I'm most interested in corporate wellness. I think more and more companies are starting to recognize the need to provide health resources for their employees. So I think right now that's where I'm wanting to go with my career. In this class, I hope to learn more about how to use the resources available to reach different individuals and to communicate effectively with the amount of diversity that we have in our community, as well as just building on my overall communication skills.
She and her roommates were still just acquaintances at this stage, and the young woman had driven back home every weekend to stay with her parents. But on this Tuesday night, September the 13th, 2016, she decided to go out and try to meet some new people. She left on her own, walking to the nearby downtown scene in the area with numerous restaurants and bars catering to the massive number of students and young people in the area. She had had a boyfriend not too long ago, but the two had broken up amicably. Phone records show that he had texted back and forth with her for a couple of weeks prior, but otherwise she was single and wasn't against finding some new companionship. Now that we've looked into her life a bit, we need to move forward to the morning of September the 14th, 2016. A man is taking his regular morning walk just before dawn at the Acorn Woods in Grapevine, Texas, when he sees a fire erupt not far from the parking area. The trees and brush obscured his view, and he couldn't make out exactly what had happened. He made his way to the area just in time to see a fire blazing heavily near the wood line and a silver or gray SUV pulling out of the parking lot. In just a few moments, he had flagged down 2 Parks and Recreation employees who were driving by in their work truck. Brock Howard and Mark Lockwood sprang from their truck and grabbed a 5-gallon bucket of water from the bed of their truck. They had been using the water to clean paintbrushes, but it did the trick in putting out the very contained fire. What they found once the flames were out caused them to call 911. Grapevine Police Department patrolman Oscar Ramirez was the first on the scene, followed quickly by Grapevine Fire Chief Darrell Brown, who happened to be returning from another call in the vicinity. On the ground were the still smoking remains of a blue plastic kiddie pool, partially burned up, and also a partially destroyed and dismembered human body. They couldn't tell if the body was male or female at first, just that it was small. Additional resources were immediately called in, and the local crime lab was brought into the scene as well. Officer Ramirez sealed off the scene and additional resources were brought to bear. The Texas Rangers were called in, and the FBI forensic team was also dispatched to the area. Officers began questioning anyone in the park area if they had seen anyone, and any nearby security cameras were checked for footage.
We reached out to them just strictly for their resources and their evidence removal capability. So that's why they're assisting us with this investigation.
While the body had been burned beyond on-site recognition, some things were readily apparent. According to the reports from the officers on the scene, the arms had been severed at the elbows and the legs had been cut off around the knee. Those parts had been placed in plastic trash bags and placed on top of the torso in the kiddie pool. The head had also been removed and placed in a plastic bag that had been tucked into the corpse's armpit. The torso cavity had also been cut open and the internal organs were visible. The body was taken immediately for autopsy, accompanied by Texas Ranger Trace McDonald and detectives from the Grapevine Police Department. The autopsy was performed by Dr. Tasha Greenberg of the Tarrant County Medical Examiner's Office. Detectives remarked during the autopsy that the body still smelled strongly of gasoline, probably because the fire had been extinguished before it had a chance to consume all of the accelerants. The quick dousing of the fire also partially preserved some of the victim's clothing, including blue jeans and a gray t-shirt that read Texas Women's University. One hand of the victim had been charred completely, but the other had suffered less damage, still showing paint on the fingernails and, most importantly, providing an opportunity for the crime lab to obtain partial fingerprints to run through their system in hopes of finding a match. The head had been burned very severely, making visual identification nearly impossible. While they waited for the prints to be run, the medical examiner was able to determine that the victim was an adult female, just under 5 feet tall and probably weighing less than 100 pounds. Examination of the torso cavity also showed that the victim's heart had been removed sometime shortly after death. There were no outward signs of exactly how the young woman had been killed. The wound to the torso, the severed limbs, and the decapitation all appeared to have happened post-mortem. By 2:30 p.m. that day, the prints had been matched to Jacqueline Ray Vandergriff, a 24-year-old student from Texas Women's University. Detectives were dispatched to her apartment to check for any clues about her disappearance. There, they interviewed her 3 roommates and found out that the young woman had been devoted to her schoolwork and hadn't been in any romantic relationships since she had moved in. The last time any of them had seen her in person was 2 nights before her body was found. Her room was searched and nothing out of the ordinary was found. Her Mazda was still parked in the housing unit's parking lot. It hadn't been moved in a few days, and within were a couple of purses, each with cash and credit cards within. The vehicle was towed to the police department for additional testing by the forensic professionals. More police were sent to meet with her family in nearby Argyle, Texas, to see if they could shed any light on the young woman, her habits, or relationships. They were able to provide her cell phone number and service carrier. No phone had been found with the body. Police investigators were able to see who she had been most recently in contact with. The first was to her old boyfriend, whom she had broken up with months before. The two had talked recently. He was quickly ruled out as a suspect as he had not been anywhere near Grapevine, Texas, and his alibi checked out. The second number was just a simple text from a woman named Sherry Bogue. Sherry turned out to be a vital piece in putting together what happened to Jackie Vandergriff. She told police that she and two other friends had gone out on the night of September 13th. They had gone to the Fry Street Public House, a local bar, while on a night out sometime between 9:15 and 9:30 p.m. Jackie had been sitting at the bar with a bald man in his late 20s, very fit and tan, with the bartender. Sherry and Jackie had struck up a conversation and had exchanged phone numbers. Sherry and her friends then decided to move on down the street to another bar, Shots and Craft. A few minutes later, Jackie and the man showed up at the bar and came over to the group of young women. Sherry said that Jackie spoke to her quite a bit, and the man kept trying to interject himself into the conversation. Eventually, Sherry and her group moved on, and she had not heard from Jackie since. Detectives went to both bars to retrieve any security camera videos they might have from that night. Police also checked a few doors down from the bars at the Crooked Crust, a local pizza parlor that had surveillance cameras outside viewing the parking lot. Detective Sergeant Mark Shimmick was dispatched to the Fry Street Public House and met with bartender Katie Allen, who not only remembered Jackie, but knew the man. She said that she had known him for a little while and had gone out with him a couple of times, but had not developed a relationship with him. She said that he had been going through a bad breakup and had some issues. Video from the pizza parlor would show the man coming in earlier in the afternoon, purchasing a quarter of a pizza, having a soda at the place, and then heading out, pizza box in hand. Outside cameras would show him headed off down the street where he took
He looked crazy. That bald-headed nigga looked crazy.
The pizza to share with Katie Allen at the public house. His vehicle visible in the upper right portion of the Crooked Crust surveillance video. In the evening security video outside, you can see Charles's silver Mitsubishi Outlander SUV do a quick U-turn and then parallel park along the street opposite from the Fry Street Public House. The silver Mitsubishi seems to match the eyewitness description from the fire at Acorn Woods in the morning that the murder was discovered. At nearly 5:57 p.m., Charles gets out of his car and walks back across the street and goes into the public house. It's less than 3 minutes later that Jackie walks across the street and enters the public house. She would meet Charles shortly thereafter, completely unaware of what fate awaits her. Outside, it had begun to rain, and Jackie had walked to the bar from her apartment. The man who she met in the public house and who had accompanied her to Shots and Craft kindly offers to give her a ride home. Perhaps a romantic spark had been kindled in her during the short time they had been together. The two walk back across the street and climb into his car. It's 8:47 p.m. The two stay in the car for 20 more minutes.
Motherfuckers trying to run and shit. I'm like, come here. Everybody going down.
Doing who knows what, and then they drive off into the night.
Too scared.
Canvassing the area for more security footage, guided somewhat by the pings from the nearby cell towers that her phone left, they were able to track the movements to a 7-Eleven on Oak Street in Denton, Texas. Jackie remained in the car while Charles went inside. Inside, Charles heads to the bathroom, then quickly grabs 2 canned alcoholic beverages along with a steak and cheese sandwich. Cell tower pings then place her phone as heading through Fort Worth, Texas, and the final one was at 1:32 a.m. from a tower on Blue Mountain Road in Haslett, Texas. According to the data it provided, the cell phone was somewhere with
stuff me in a locker and think they got something going. They gonna smell some smoke. Like, y'all smell that? Nigga gonna set that bitch on fire. Y'all ain't gonna have no choice but to let me out that bitch.
Within a northeasterly azimuth of the tower when the phone stopped communicating. Charles's home was located 3 miles to the northeast of that particular tower. Charles Bryant was not a complete unknown to police in the area. Twice before, in the city of Grapevine, Charles had been arrested for possession of marijuana and forgery. He had also had a misdemeanor assault charge in Washington state a few years before. Most important, though, was that he was currently the subject of a protective order sworn out by an old girlfriend in nearby Denton because he had been stalking her.
He looked crazy, though. Like, who the fuck was attracted to this nigga? Like, he looked crazy.
And campus police at North Texas University were currently looking for him because he had violated that protective order. Charles had dated a petite,
he was strong as shit.
18-year-old woman for about 3 months before she broke off the relationship with him. He didn't take the relationship breakup well and continued to pursue a relationship with her, and in the end, to just pursue her, leading to an arrest on September the 6th of 2016 and removal from the North Texas campus where she went to school. A protective order would be issued against him in an attempt to prevent him from stalking her. It did not work. He would return in just a few days, showing up at her dorm with flowers in hand, asking her to take him back. He would leave that campus that day before police arrived, but a warrant was put out for his arrest should he show up on campus again. Members of the local drug task force were dispatched to watch 14017 Sandhills Drive in Haslett, Texas, a 4-bedroom home that Charles shared with 2 roommates.
What was he doing on the campus of a female school?
In the meantime, an arrest warrant for Charles Bryant was sworn out on the violation of the protective order. This would allow them to take him into custody. In the meantime, search warrants were requested for his house, car, and cell phone. They knew they had their man, but they needed physical evidence. Charles would emerge from his home, get into his car, and begin to drive away. Within a block, he had been pulled over, removed from his car, cuffed, and sat on the curb. His car was towed and impounded to be searched for evidence, initially dealing with the stalking charges, but in short order for evidence in the murder case of Jackie Vandergriff. Inside, they found a .22 caliber Sig Sauer Mosquito pistol and a stun gun hidden under the front console. The stun gun still had a single, long, blonde hair tangled up in it. A further search of the car turned up a number of zip ties that matched ones found at the scene of the burning, and a number of blue plastic flakes consistent with the remnants of a burned kiddie pool. Numerous blonde hairs and blood stains in the back cargo area were also discovered. In addition, they found clothes that he had been wearing on the night of Jackie's disappearance. Warrants were obtained for the home and his roommates, who came home during his arrest. They cooperated fully with the investigation. Inside the house were found 4 large plastic kiddie pools in 2 of the spare bedrooms, each being used as a small-scale marijuana growing operation. Out in the backyard, a blue kiddie pool matching the one at the burn site was found, set up for Charles's dogs to splash in. There was also a circular spot in the grass nearby where another kiddie pool had recently been placed. Detectives would later use satellite images to view the backyard from above and were able to determine that in the past there had been 2 matching pools in the yard, each blue with distinctive cartoon fish on them. In the trash can, they found a bag containing a black satchel matching the one that Jackie
How could niggas be so careless when they do shit like this?
had been carrying that night, emblazoned with the Texas Women's University logo on it. Another zip tie flexicuff was found in the trash as well, with blonde hairs caught up in it. Inside the closet in Charles's bedroom, a large K-bar type military knife was found along with a small red plastic gas can. The knife would later test positive for blood, and security cam footage from a gas station would show a nervous Charles filling up the can in the wee hours of the morning just before the reported fire at Acorn Woods. A receipt in his room would also show that Charles had gone to a nearby Walmart that morning around 4:45 a.m. and purchased a shovel. The backyard behind the home showed that he had apparently attempted to dig a hole there that morning, either to bury or burn Jackie's body on the premises. His roommates said that he told them he had decided to put in a koi pond. It looked like an open and shut case for the local police and Texas Rangers. Charles was brought in and interviewed by 2 detectives and a sergeant. They laid out the evidence they had, and Charles never tries to refute it. He just maintained that he didn't remember doing it.
It had to have been me. Obviously, it all points to me. I can't recall that. I don't know why I would. Someone I don't know even.
But the thing about it is having the conversation with
Yeah,
the
the
neighbor
following
next
day,
day.
I get it.
Yeah.
And I think I'm
And so-
reference to Caitlin.
Why in the world?
Charles, you want something to drink?
Thanks, man.
I'm Sergeant Henley. We haven't met. I feel like I know you though because I've been watching the goings on or whatnot. And I keep hearing you say you don't know what's going on. You don't remember. You don't this. You don't that. Come on, man. We've laid it out for you. Okay.
Yeah, it's there. End up in Grapevine. I
We're-
remember that.
We're over there at your house. Okay. We have video of you with this girl.
Showed me.
You're at the bar. Her cell phone goes to your house. You're walking around Walmart at 4 o'clock in the morning buying a shovel. She's found dead in a pool that came from your backyard. Okay?
Yeah.
You
it's on
can't tell me you
Like at that point, bro, just give it up, my nigga. Like, come on, ball, bro. Like, come on, bro. Like, at that point, just give it up. Like, nigga, what?
can't tell me you don't remember.
I don't know why.
Come on, man.
What I'm giving you
You were
that.
there.
Obviously.
You did all these things, and there is no way in the world that
I
a
can't
man
recall
could
killing someone.
travel all the way from Hazlitt to Grapevine, from Denton to Hazlitt to Grapevine, and not remember.
Facts.
Stand up and man up and
Yeah,
tell us
I-
what you did for this girl's family.
I'm admitting to it. I can't remember killing anyone, man. I don't
You've
know how I
got
could kill
to.
someone.
There's no way. You remember all the big things in your life. Okay? Very few are bigger than taking another human life. I know it's in there. Okay?
Yeah, okay.
I know you got it in you.
I don't know how.
Talk to me.
I'm trying.
Tell me.
The past hour and a half, I've been racking my brain.
There's no way, man. There's no way in the world that you do not remember this. There's no way.
Woke up. I don't even remember taking her home. I thought it was home.
She went to
earlier.
your house.
Yeah, I don't remember taking her to my place, man. I don't. I thought I went home by myself.
And you killed her. And then you didn't just leave her there, you drove her to Grapevine. Tell me you don't remember that. Putting her in the car. Come on.
I don't even
You were
remember
at the
taking her
bar
home.
with her in Denton. Y'all drove to your house. You killed her. You drove her to Grapevine. And you don't remember any of that?
I just remember waking up hungover. I don't know how I could kill someone, man. I don't. It's like it's not me. But obviously it is me. It's like I just.
Out of all those things that I've told you there, how is that possible that you don't remember?
I don't think I was that drunk. I really don't.
It's
I know I
not
was
about
drinking.
being drunk, Charles. The people kill people when they're drunk because they drive down the road and they hit them. Okay? They don't murder them and then take them to another place. Look at me, man. They don't. I've been doing this for 25 years. Okay? I've heard a lot of blackout stories. I've seen a lot of blackout stories. This is not a blackout story. And the fact that you can't look me in the eyes,
I don't remember, man. I don't.
it's down in there. And it's weighing on you. It's dragging
yeah,
you
this
down.
entire thing is
I know. And you would at least feel better
telling you something I don't know.
telling me the
You
truth.
feel better.
'cause
I don't know, man.
You do know, Charles. There's no way you could not know.
They had their man, but what they did not have from him was him actually saying that he committed the crime. They needed him not just to admit that the evidence looked strong, but to actually tell them how and why he did the crime. The Texas Rangers sent in Jim Holland, their expert at interviewing suspects, particularly those involved in murders. He first worked to establish a rapport with Charles, sharing some anecdotes about fitness and the dating scene.
JB Holland, Texas Rangers. So, I'm kind of egocentric, so let me talk about me. Is that all right? If you don't mind.
I seem like a cool guy.
Do what?
Seem like a cool guy, so I'm all ears.
Well, I guess I try. Maybe I don't try. Maybe it just happens. I don't know. And the nice thing about my job is when I get an assignment, everyone kind of bends over for me. So if I need something from the lab, let's say another ranger is trying to get something run to the lab and they say, hey, it's going to be a month. Well, I can call up and say, hey, I need that. And man, I got people popping out of bed and everything like that. And that's a good thing about, working directly for the governor. The bad thing is you get phone calls all the time and you're getting flown all over the place and he expects results. So of us 8 USIT guys, I'm the senior one. So I get all the big fun phone calls, but it's an interesting gig. I'm never bored or anything like that.
I can see that.
Now, let's let Charles give his side of the story.
Tell me what's going on today. Why are you wearing the Village People outfit?
Right? Tuesday, it's like...
They didn't have anything else for you to wear?
That's it. I was wearing my shorts and I'm like, oh, I gotta change in this, but I don't mind. Yeah, it's crazy because I really don't remember meeting this girl. It's like, I met her at a public house and...
A public house?
Yeah, it's a bar in Denton.
Oh, okay.
And it's like we left there and I thought we kind of parted ways, but we were at another bar drinking and I doubt that apparently she was with me. We came back to my place and I don't remember driving home with her, which is insane. But yeah, because I got a text like the following day because like really I just found out yesterday it's like oh, you're our lead suspect and she's dead. I'm like, that's fucking insane. But one of my clients, she texted me, she's like, oh yeah, there's a body found in it's like Grapevine Lake area, and she's like, we were close to that area. I'm like, that's fucking insane. And I was like, oh, let's just train somewhere else the following day because we're supposed to train on Friday morning. But yeah, turns out it was me, and it's just nuts. Like, I don't even know this girl. It's like, I don't remember her name, and it's blown my mind because it's so out of character for me. It's like, I'm not an angry guy. I'm not aggressive. It's I don't know. I've been trying to think over it last night, and I just don't remember leaving with her. It's like, because all I remember is like this tiny little thing. I commented on that because I went and saw my friend Katie, and she's a bartender, and we were drinking there, and I've been there pretty much all day. Just because I was going through some crap with my ex, and called a lawyer, blah 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 blah, and I just went to go drink with Katie, but I don't think I was that drunk. I remember going home. I thought I went home alone, but I didn't. But I'm taking it's like all the events is on me. It's like I'm just I can't remember doing it, but it's me. It's totally me. There's no doubt about it. But I just want to go forward with it. I don't know where I'm gonna go. It's, like,
Right.
It's jail. I'm fine with that. And, one of the detectives yesterday was saying that Texas has a death penalty. I'm like, all right, great. I'm gonna die in jail, but I can't fight it. It's obviously me. I can't remember doing anything because they gave me time frames, and I was like, I woke up at like 9. I just felt like really groggy and tired. I thought I was just hungover, but yeah, they're like, you're here, here, and here. I'm like, how the fuck? But
Charles's story of blacking out will not help settle the case, so Ranger Holland explained that he is going to work through this with him. Most cases of psychotic blackouts leave memories intact, but they don't reemerge until up to 72 hours after the incident, oftentimes piece by piece, seemingly unrelated at first. Charles goes along with this and eventually opens up after hours of discussion.
Have you ever met this chick before?
never know.
Can you remember what she looks like?
Tiny little blonde girl.
Yeah. Did they show you a picture yesterday, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I remember commenting at Public House, I was like, oh, you're really tiny. Because she was sitting down, and then she stood up, because, I don't know, we were just drinking. I was like, oh, you're little. I remember that. We kept drinking. We all leave around like 9 something, because Katie had to leave. I just got blurry because I thought I went over to another bar.
You did. You went to a second bar.
Yeah, not that one. It's like, I thought I went to that one, and there's a guy in there. He's a bartender.
Yeah, the bartender in there said you were in there chatting the chick up.
Yeah, they showed me pictures yesterday, and they were at the same time. And I gave a girl my card. someone. I don't. I don't know how that would escalate. And so there's a zip tie. It had her hair on it.
Well, you know what gets you. Well, so this is the swimming pool that's missing from your backyard, right? It didn't burn up all the way, and the edges curled over. So your DNA's, I mean, all over it. Fingerprints, DNA, and everything in the backside of the body, same thing. I mean, there's DNA on it. The other side of the swimming pool, there's DNA, there's fingerprints, there's dog hair that's going to end up matching, I think, your dog's. And you know, you got the knife with, that test isn't back yet, but the knife that's in your closet is going to come back with her blood on it. And the reason that they found out right away is it wasn't burned up all the way, so they were able to get fingernails, or I'm sorry, fingerprints. It's called AFIS, Automatic Fingerprinting Information System. So they can basically, the morgue rolls her fingerprints because they're not off there, and then that's how we identify her so fast. And underneath her nails, she's got some skin. It's going to come back, we believe, to you. They just got their stuff, your DNA yesterday, and then I started.
Yeah, the swab and everything.
Yeah, I started pushing that. It was going to be 30 days, and I started pushing that last night. So the stuff starts coming back, and that's some of those texts. I asked them to update me as we go through, so I know definitive things. I can already tell you what's going to be there, but the swimming pool, your DNA on her body, or what's going to end up being your dog's hairs in the pool on her clothes. I mean, but your roommate's got you out there at 4 a.m. digging a hole in the backyard. Let's see if I got a picture of the swimming pool where you dug a hole. But you're digging a hole basically where that swimming pool was, and he said you're putting in a kiki pond. You remember that conversation with him?
Koi pond?
Koi pond, yeah. You remember telling him that you were putting in a koi pond at 4 a.m.?
God, about a koi pond, that's crazy. I remember digging a hole. It's like I saw the shovel this morning, and like
your DNA's all over it. One of them had they found a partial or a full fingerprint. See, as I'm getting these back, these are all my tests coming in. DNA positive. And this part that has the rolled up on it, this is where her body's found inside this, but you'll see that nice protection, the heat rolled over the edges, and your DNA and your fingerprints are, So, a bag, some of the stuff was wrapped in a bag, but the bag didn't burn. Well, mitochondrial DNA is on there. I mean, between YSTR, full range DNA, and mitochondrial DNA, I mean, you're all over it. And then, and you can see that.
It was shown that he had made inquiries how to remove a person's heart. How much formaldehyde would it take to preserve a human heart? And how to use clear resin to make an art piece. All of the searches were made before he had even met Jackie. Perhaps he had been planning to do something horrible to his stalking victim. We might never know. Even more disturbing, considering the small size and young age of both women involved, was that hundreds of pieces of child pornography were found on Charles's computer. He would also be charged and convicted with a Class 3 felony for possession of such materials. Charles had been a monster in the making long before he crossed paths one fateful September night with Jackie Vandergriff. Had he killed her in a fit of passion, or as the target of opportunity? Was she just a surrogate for another person that he wanted to kill instead? If you found this case compelling, don't forget to like.
Alright, we're gonna go ahead and wrap this one up, man. Y'all go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. Have a blessed one. I'll see y'all on the next video. Say bye-bye.
Bye.
Say bye-bye.
Bye, bye.